Participants, for us to be healthy, live a good life, and have good social relation and security and freedom of choice, a regular supply of food, water, and energy are essential. Humans understood the importance of these life-sustaining resources long back. Hence, the early man converted himself from being a food appropriator to a food producer and water regulator. Over the period, humans identified crops and developed irrigation methods suitable to the local conditions, topography, and requirements. The early man understood the importance of natural resources and devised indigenous methods and techniques to conserve these natural resources. However, during the past 3 centuries, the human population increased rapidly. Most of this population growth occurred in developing nations. Most of these countries were under colonial rules, which systematically destroyed the indigenously developed self-sustaining food systems. These developing nations had limited ability to grow adequate food and pay for the food imports. Hence, during the first few decades of 20th century, a big chunk of the growing population faced severe food crisis and a series of famine, resulting in death of several million of them, including in India. At that point in time, the scarcity of cultivable land and the water for irrigation was the major constraint in ensuring food security. Subsequently, starting from 1950s and particularly after Green Revolution, numerous plans, policies, and strategies are crafted and employed to bridge the gaps. Along with modern agricultural techniques, seeds, and chemicals, the spread of irrigation facilities, rural electrification played a remarkable role in achieving food security in late 20th century. The water and energy inputs to modern and sustainable agriculture production and processing systems are crucial for moving beyond sustenance farming towards food security, adding value in rural areas and expanding into new agriculture markets. Water is needed to grow crops for food, fabric, and biofuels and to run power plants. Energy is required to pump out groundwater and also in several agricultural operations. We also require energy to treat water and transport and preserve food and value addition. The world is hungry for food, food is hungry for energy, and energy production requires water. To feed the ever-growing aspiring population, we need food. To produce the food, we need water and energy. And to produce energy, we need water and agricultural produce as biofuel. Hence, by the end of 20th century, energy consumption, water use, irrigated land, and crop areas increased remarkably. Let us have a close look at the change in these sectors. I will start with the change in freshwater use. The use of freshwater has increased nearly sixfold since the start of 20th century. You can see that the rates of global freshwater use increased sharply from 1950s onwards, but since 2000 appear to be plateauing or at least slowing down. Annual global water demand for all uses presently is about 4,600 billion cubic meter. It will increase to 6,000 BCM by the year 2050, and a large chunk of it will go for the irrigation. Water withdrawal for irrigation are primary driver of groundwater depletion worldwide, particularly in India. In 2010, global annual groundwater use amounted to around 1,000 BCM. India, along with United States, China, Iran, and Pakistan, account for 67% of the global groundwater extraction. The annual groundwater extraction by 2050 will be 1100 BCM. Currently, India is the largest freshwater user, followed by China and USA and Indonesia. These five nations collectively account for one-third of the global freshwater use to support around 45% of the global population. Participants' growing food requirements are being met by increasing the crop area, improvement in crop yields, and increasing the irrigation coverage. Despite increased total areas under cultivation, per capita global crop area is recording decline due to the population growth. Improved irrigation facilities and efficient land and water resources management will hold the key to meet the future food requirements. Starting from the 1960s, the global land area under cultivation increased by just over 100 million hectares. However, between 1950s and 2015, the global irrigated area increased by a factor of 3. Globally, irrigated crop yields are 2.7 times higher than those of rainfed farming. Hence, irrigation will continue to play a primary role in food production. Let us see how the newly added croplands, extended irrigation facilities, and improved crop yields impacted the global food production. Between 1960s and 2015, the global annual cereal production increased from over 900 million tons to over 2,500 million tons. Since 1960s, yields of irrigated wheat have increased threefold, whereas rice and maize yields have doubled. Similarly, an increase in the production of oilseeds, sugarcane, fruits and vegetables, meat and dairy products was also reported. The world now produces over 3 times the quantity of meat compared to 50 years ago. Similarly, between 1960s and 2018, milk production doubled. Energy also played a crucial role in the growth of agricultural production. Modern agriculture practices require modern energy inputs at all crop production stages, such as direct energy used in farm machinery, irrigation facilities, water management, cultivation and harvesting. Post-harvesting energy use includes energy consumption in food processing, storage and transport to the markets. For example, in OECD countries, around 3 to 5% of the total final energy consumption is used directly in the agriculture sector. For developing countries, it varies between 4 and 8% of total final commercial energy use. Learners, the global level data suggests a significant improvement in agriculture output and productivity over the decades. Despite a merely 12% increase in the cultivated areas, agriculture production tripled in past 50 years. Agriculture now accounts for 70% of all water withdrawn from surface water bodies and aquifers. Existing water, food and energy systems are already constrained due to the competing needs for limited resources in different parts of the world. Social transformation and climate change related issues are putting more pressure on locally available water, energy and food resources. It is suggested that by 2030, the world will face a 40% water gap covering the global drinking water, energy needs and food requirements. Learners, now we understand that agricultural growth depends on water and land availability and energy supply. Sustainability in drinking water supply, food production and energy generation depends on water and land resources possessed by various countries. However, not every country is self-sufficient in food production, water resource availability and energy generation. Even the self-sufficient countries may require to secure supplies of few other ingredients from other countries. For a long period, the consumption of these resources and output were seen independently. However, now we understand that water, food and energy security can only be achieved by appreciating the interdependence between these sectors. Besides, considering the interlinkage between food, water and energy is imperative for achieving sustainable development objectives. The water, energy, food nexus approach accounts for these multiple interdependent relationships. The word nexus means to connect. The word conveys the interactions between two or more elements. their dependencies or interdependencies. The water, energy, food nexus is therefore the study of the connections between these three resources together with the synergies, conflicts and trade-off that arise from how they are managed. Significant efforts have been made to explore the water, energy, food nexus from various aspects, including calculating resource flows and their dependencies, assessing technology and policy applications, and quantifying system performances.